Hey guys, today I'm back with Julian and we're going to talk about first messages. And right now, Julian has a bunch of matches from the profile that we set up earlier. So, what we're going to
Mhm.
do is just kind of look at them fresh, completely blind, and try to go through our brainstorming process of how we figure out how to write great messages really fast.
Should we go through the profile first?
Yeah, definitely.
Just because I can do so on the side here. That's interesting. Lots of stars there.
That's gorgeous.
To be honest, some of these people I matched a couple of days ago, so it might be a little fresh to me as well, going through this.
Cool.
Okay, so it looks like she's applying some whatever lip thing that is. Okay, yeah, not much to work with here. Yeah,
Okay.
so I guess mostly this photo strikes me with the stars.
Awesome. So basically, in this situation, this happens with a lot of men. There's nothing really to comment on in her profile content. Looking for a serious
Yeah.
relationship, if that doesn't resonate with you, like, I don't know, don't fake right out to that. So, what Julian just did is look through the photos, and we try to look at the details within the photos to see if there's anything that strikes us there. So, Jules, you like this photo. What did you specifically, when you think of night sky or this beauty, tell me out loud what that makes you think of.
Yeah, I mean, as a former photographer, I feel it's pretty hard to take a photo like that, like where you see a lot of stars, but still the person is well lit. So, like from a photography perspective, I would be curious how they did it.
Okay, that's perfect. So, what we want to think about is first we pick out something that actually resonates with us. So, we picked out kind of stars and good photography. From there, we want to try to brainstorm what Julian just did about his experience. Why does this matter to me? Why is it interesting? Why do I like it? What am I curious about here? And try to be a little introspective for 30 seconds and just brainstorm, like free write, basically, your feelings and thoughts around this or your personal experience. So, what Julian did was like, oh, I used to be a photographer. Night sky shots are difficult. Even getting one like that with the perfect lighting is really challenging. I wonder how she did that. Okay, just kind of tapping into yourself is going to be so much stronger than trying to read a woman's mind and trying to figure out what exactly is a cool message to send. The essence of confidence is knowing and expressing yourself. So that's what we're going to do here. So, Jules, I imagine in 2 to 3 sentences, something like, hey, I got to tell you, like taking a night sky picture like that and still getting all the lighting casting right on you is crazy difficult. I'm curious, how'd you set it up? Something like that is what it sounds like to me. Obviously, you maybe write it a little bit differently in your own words, but I think that's the ethos of what you're trying to convey. If that
Hmm.
was the first message.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. So in this
e-
situation, we're probably gonna respond to what she asked first, and then write something like that, right?
yeah, exactly. So we could write was and now. Um, why'd you switch out of photography? Or
I mean, honestly, I got sick of, shooting weddings, shooting like calendars for grandma and stuff like that. So, I mean, I had a very narrow focus that I was interested in, mostly, advertising, fashion, beauty photography. And like when I saw what the reality is of, you have to just start with stuff that you don't like for a couple of years, then I decided it's probably better for me to do it as a hobby, just take photos of what I like and yeah, do something other
cool.
to make my money.
All right, and I remember one time you told me something that resonated, which was like, I felt like it was taking me out of the moment to feel like I had to shoot my experiences rather than be in them.
Right,
Um,
that's very true. Yeah.
that's just another idea. But again, guys, what we want to get back to is not what's interesting, what's a cool response here, but what is my actual feelings, my own humor, my own perspective, and leading with that as quick as possible. Because one, that's going to feel like integrity, and it's actually going to lead to enjoyable, meaningful conversations. Um, so, Jules, for me, yeah, something like, I wanted to do really creative pursuits, but the journey of doing a bunch of grandma and wedding photo shoots first wasn't as fun. And then
Yeah.
leading into that other message, something like that.
Cool. So maybe something like I always wanted to go into beauty and ads, photography, but the reality of having to shoot calendars for grandmas didn't
That's a pretty funny one.
Didn't quite
Resonate, or didn't quite inspire me.
Yeah. Didn't quite inspire me to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then say, yeah, getting a shot like that in the night, your shot of the night sky with the lighting you got is pretty. I mean, you could send that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I would send that perfectly.
And then I would have written it as a question maybe. So like, are you a photographer by any chance? Like your night sky photo is pretty legit though. I'm wondering how you did it.
Yeah. What about you? I mean, I would make it even because we've said photographer. What about you? You know, exactly what you said about the night sky.
All right. Your night sky photo is pretty legit. Wondering how you took that.
Sweet. I love it, man.
Cool. I'm always pretty loose on emoticons. I mean, maybe not everyone's taste, but studies show they work, and I like it just because I can express emotion a little bit better.
I've turned around to them. I'm an older gen, so like I held on to my horse for a while of like emojis and emoticons, but I think they're great. Cool. All right, that's awesome. And obviously we're taking a little bit of time to explain this and go through it. But when you kind of do this process, we'll talk about again, you do it quickly, it feels honest, and it's generally the other person on the other screen is going to feel that too. And like, it's faster, it's more fun, it's authentic, you're not stressing about it. And that's where I think a lot of the enjoyment of actually doing these messages comes from, instead of always being like, oh my God, I have to write this message and think about it for 10 minutes. And like, is she going to like it? That's just never going to be fun. So sharing your grandma calendar story is fantastic.
Cool. Perfect.
Cool. All right.
Then I guess let's move on.
Yeah. I guess we won't say their names out loud too much because we'll probably cover them.
All right. Cool. So,
all right.
Same process. Okay. So first thing that strikes me, the bio. 4'11". I don't think I've ever seen someone under 5 feet.
Yeah, sure. That's obviously a shorter girl.
Yeah.
Cool. Waiting to be wifed. That's funny, man. You got two women who both said they were looking for something serious right off the bat in their profile.
Yeah, actually, it's a bit of a misconception that Tinder is mostly for hookups. So several studies that have been done recently show that is the conception that people have. But the vast majority of people actually only look for approval there or look for something more serious. Only less than 15% of people actually have hookups on Tinder.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that stat. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. All right, let's click through the photos, I guess.
Let's do it.
Okay, she and the girlfriend, who must be super short as well. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like her look.
All right, Herb.
This is crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
Next level.
All right.
Her with her friends.
That could even be her mom, I guess.
Oh yeah, it could be her mom. That's true.
All right, friends. Yeah.
Nice.
To be honest, I wouldn't be sure if I would actually reach out to her.
Yeah, I would have a hard time too. There's nothing there necessarily there that excited me. So this is a good experiment of like, guys, I think it's good to also, just because you find someone physically attractive, it's good to start to have standards for yourself and put yourself into that frame of mind of like, I am confident as well and I can have choices. And actually, this isn't, confirmed, but it seems like the algorithm does respect when you are a little choosy and you are not only swiping on every single person you find attractive. So in this case scenario, maybe we wouldn't. Do you think it's worth it to just go through and try to, give an example of how someone could when there's very little profile content there.
Yeah, sure,
Um,
definitely.
I mean, the two things that stand to me is dolphins. I mean, probably the thing that stands out to me is mostly the dolphin,
Yeah,
just because I'm pretty fascinated by dolphins.
me too.
And so let's go through this process quick. Okay, I'm scanning for things in a profile. Let's imagine I'm actually interested in this woman. Um, and then I hit this dolphin photo and I'm like, cool, the detail, dolphin.
Hmm.
Um, and then I'm going to brainstorm anything that comes to mind around dolphins. So for me, dolphins mean cute, but also deadly, quite sinister, dangerous. And now, after learning more about them, I would be cautious about being so close at times. Um,
All
or
right.
just the implication that, I mean, look at his eye in the photo. It kind of looks like he's sneakily thinking, like his eye's kind of down, like he's thinking
Yeah,
something sneaky, right?
yeah, he's making
Uh,
other plans, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, so that's hilarious. So yeah, like something like that for me could be like, hey, that dolphin looks pretty shifty. We all know what they're really like. Be careful out there, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, honestly, for me, like the first thing that popped into mind was, I wonder how dolphins hug. Like, are they actually like close with their bodies, embracing you, or are they like a little standoffish?
that's awesome. So like in my mind, the funniest way to phrase that just popped into my head is like, do dolphins give good hugs? Like, are they actually embracing you and like getting close, or are they giving kind of that like hover fin? I don't know if you know the term hover hand,
Yeah.
right?
This is.
Do dolphins give
Oh my
good
god.
hugs, or is it more of a hover fin? That's hilarious. Oh my god. I would send that. That's and it's kind of still true like if you didn't find anything specific about her, but maybe she just didn't have a chance to show you it, you're talking about her experience with the dolphin, and then you can give her a second if you wanted to see if she has more to say in a sense of humor that surprises you, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go to
One
somebody else.
question here, Nick. Would
Yeah.
you introduce usually with like hey and then do dolphins give good hugs, or like would you just do it straight as we did?
I personally like leading into it. I think, sometimes if you put like, I think if you just do like, hey, or something, it's fine. But sometimes a lot of guys get into the habit of like really proper messaging and it kind of puts them into
Hmm.
that. They're like, hey, Jessica, nice to meet you. Or hey, Jessica, I'm Nick. And then lead into
Yeah.
it. And it kind of gives a formal, like, it makes it appear that you guys aren't friends. You're complete strangers. And sometimes I like the more just rolling into it because that's how you'd message like a friend or a woman you're actually dating, right? You're just like, cool,
Yeah.
let's pretend like we know each other. So I don't think it's terrible to put a hey. I just don't think like the full like, hey Jessica, this is Nick every time is it takes away from kind of the strength of the message in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. Agreed
Cool.
there. That's good. And just FYI, guys, the vast majority of messages that women get, like first messages, have less than 6 characters. Believe it or not. So
Really?
yeah. So hey, hi, hello,
That's
other stuff.
insane, man. How little effort you have to put in to do that.
Yeah, totally.
Uh, that's funny. Okay.
Cool. Let's move on. Or woman whose name I should bring up maybe.
No worries.
All right,
Okay.
so here we have a little bit more to work with.
Cool. That's a good example.
Dog lover, climbing, festivals, coffee shopping. All right.
She says,
Biggest
well, I'm the
traveler.
biggest traveler you'll ever meet. That's a pretty big statement.
Look better than Orlando Bloom on a paddleboard.
Depends if you're attracted to Orlando Bloom. I bake the best macaroons and known to be a bit clumsy.
All right. So I feel like this Orlando Bloom line, this lends itself really well to some intentional misunderstanding.
Okay.
Like I think what she wants to do is say like she looks really good on a stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah.
But like when I read it sounded like she's comparing herself to Orlando Bloom. Like he looks really good on the paddleboard, but she can still look better than him. But like with looking like Orlando Bloom, this kind of thing. maybe there's a twist there. I don't have anything in
Like,
mind yet.
I look better than Orlando Bloom on a paddleboard. Um, I could
Like maybe
imagine.
Pirates of the Caribbean or something, you know? Like
Okay, yeah,
do you
sure.
wear like an eye patch or whatever? Like
Yeah, he's
yeah,
got a pretty fly, get up. Do you like are you dressing more, like a pirate than he is or some that kind of idea? I think that's
right.
pretty funny.
Let's see
You
through the
want to flick
photos
through her
maybe.
profiles?
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
I like that
That's a
dog.
big dog.
Yeah,
That
she
kind of look
looks very sympathetic, I feel.
yeah,
This looks to
totally.
be traveling in an northern African country, or it could be South. Mm, could
Could
be
be
Persian.
southern Spain too, where they have the Moorish architecture.
Right, right. Okay, normal
Hanging
friends
with
photo.
friends.
I mean, the
So
biggest traveler is also interesting as a hook. I feel like what makes one the biggest traveler, like bringing the most stuff or
that's
going to the
funny.
most different places.
That's actually
Just
probably what resonated most with me too. But I didn't even
mhm.
think about like that, like misconstruing what does that even mean, right?
Yeah,
Um, okay, so let's do this. Let's take one of those two. Let's start with biggest traveler. When you think of the biggest traveler, yeah, let's brainstorm. What does that mean to you, man? Like, do you imagine the silliness of her with a ton of suitcases? Do you, yeah, what comes to mind with you? I don't want to feed you that.
yeah. So I was wondering if there's a good GIF to go with that.
Okay,
Let's see what we find with traveling. Maybe we have something, you know, with someone carrying way too much baggage. Maybe
like
that one on
that.
the left is pretty good.
That literally perfect. Okay,
Not sure what we would add to that like question. A
I
big
could.
traveler, kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. I was imagine like, hey, when I read you're the biggest traveler, this is all I could think of. Is this accurate? Or is this what you meant by the biggest traveler ever?
All right.
I think that's pretty funny, man. That's hilarious. Does that feel good to
Hmm.
you?
I'm wondering if it's lacking something real small. Maybe. I mean, we can send this and
Wait.
then maybe
So
also.
no, let's add to it because I was thinking that too. Maybe it's not. Um, so like, yeah, I would relate back to yourself. You know, in one sentence, Jules, why do you love traveling so much? You've been to quite a bit of countries, and I think you enjoy that a lot. Why does it matter to you? Maybe we add that on to the end so it's a little real.
Sure. Mm, I guess for me it's mostly the food, to be honest. I mean, also new experiences and places, architecture, all that stuff. But I mean, number one is food. I would say.
Okay, so maybe it'd be like, is this what you meant the biggest traveler ever? To me, that means sitting with 10 different plates of food in front of me, you know,
Yeah.
trying the best they have to offer. Something like that.
So kind of
And I
like,
think you combine, go
what
ahead.
does being the biggest traveler ever mean mean to you? Something like that,
Yeah, sure.
or mean to you? I
And from
was imagining someone with 20 suitcases on a round the world trip. Not sure that is good, but that's the
yeah, I
first
think
thing
it's
that came
fine.
to mind.
I think it's pretty funny. I mean, the good thing to learn is I think keep writing and I'll share with these guys. I think it's good to realize that it's okay to be clunky as long as it stands out a little. And if you're brainstorming and kind of getting into your own experience and getting a little weird with it, it's going to stand out from the 6 character messages Julian said, like, hey, what's up? Or just a generic compliment. And then also, if it's even a little real, like Julian's trying to say, share his experience, that also is going to come across as authentic and like you're having fun and casual. So it can be
Yeah,
a little weird and clunky, and it still actually does pretty well a lot of the time.
Cool. So let's send
Cool.
that, and then I actually travel mostly for food.
Yeah, sure.
I would have added a little hook before, like I travel a lot because of my job.
Yeah, that's cool. Then she's curious about your job, and your job says coaching, owner of a
But
coaching company or something,
currently,
right?
I actually travel mostly for food.
Love it, man. It's real. She could feel it. It's kind of funny. You're sending a GIF. Um, and yeah, I think it actually shows a little bit of who you are too, which I believe is true. You mostly do travel for the food. I'm pretty up there for the food
Yeah,
as well.
and what I feel like a lot of guys don't do is they don't give them anything where they can easily respond to. Like when you only make funny statements, it's really hard sometimes for the other person to reply. But here, for
Definitely.
example, like it's the easiest thing in the world to ask, "Oh, what do you do for a living?"
Yeah. Or if she also loves food, right? That's an also easier. Me too. Like, oh my God, I have the best, I can't wait to travel again to have the best meals. And then she can like
Yeah,
relate to that experience. Yeah, I agree. Like sometimes when you only put quips or funny kind of witty one-liners, it is challenging to be like, okay, but where do I go from there? It's funny, but I don't know what to say. Um, that's great, man.
cool.
I love it. Let's go on who's next.
All right.
All right, no content again. So this will be purely
No.
off photos.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
She kind of looks like that dating coach we know in that photo. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know who we're talking about.
Yeah. I know. That's very true.
That's funny.
So I like her tattoo. I also like how she ties her shoelaces.
Yo, I've
Like,
never seen that in my life.
all right.
I also noticed that she has Converses on. So like you got Converses, tattoos, and tire shoes in weird places. But go ahead. That's me. That's hilarious. Thanks to you. I've been wondering how to tie the high Converse sleeves forever. Thanks to you, I can now wear them without tripping. That's hilarious, man. Um,
Cool.
I love that. And let's see if there's something else in her
Let's.
profile or like
Yeah.
what. Or I mean, honestly, you got a tattoo as well, man, and that was your first thing. And she also has tattoos, so you could also ask something about that if that was you.
All right. Cool. So let's add something real. I mean, with the tattoo, mostly it looks like it's an uh, Osiris eye. Some
Oh
some
yeah, it does.
Egyptian, yeah, some Egyptian symbol. Also on her right leg, kind of close to the ankle, there's something. Could be
I
a
mean,
penguin.
yeah, that was my. It's funny, but it's also sincere. It's like, Are you also hiding a penguin under? Is that a penguin poking out from under the shoe, or are you hiding a
Yeah,
penguin under the
I
Converses?
mean, I would have probably done a compliment now. So like, I love where she put the tattoos. So the places where she's tattooed they are really rare. I feel like I haven't seen a person who had a tattoo on their upper forearm.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't seen that really either.
That's really
Um,
cool.
and I think that's real to you, man. You've got some tats, and it resonates. So good.
How would you write that just in terms of like English, writing it
I
in
love where
as
you
few words as
chose.
possible?
Yeah,
Where
sure.
you where you
I love where you
put
placed or put your tattoos. Really unique. Like, and then if you
and
wanted to, is that a penguin
oh,
hiding under the Converse? And even if it's not, it's kind of funny. She's like, no, that's hilarious. It's actually this. And it's a good way for her to explain her tattoo to you and to share that with you. And because you have in your photos, you have tats as well. I think it also comes across very sincere. Like she'll look at your profile and she'll be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, cool. This dude isn't just like giving me a line about like, hey, what's your tattoo mean?" He
Mm-hmm.
clearly has a sleeve, so he gives a shit, and he actually means the compliment.
Yep.
So I really love that you complimented genuinely on the tattoos, and this normally breaks a lot of the guidelines we talk about, which is like don't compliment too often right off the bat, because women get that all the time. They get random compliments. Hey, you're beautiful. Hey, you got a great smile. Where that is different is when it's actually something you really give a shit about and it resonates, whether that's a little bit later in the convo, but sometimes it is up front. And again, I don't want to harp on this, but Jules likes tattoos. It struck him. It is meaningful to him. She can see that. She has it in her tags. So this is something that is sincere, and this is a great example of a good compliment early on. Perfect.
Cool. All
I
right.
think you also got, we'll look at it later, you got a response from the first message already.
Think so?
From,
Nah, don't think so.
that's not it?
It looks like it's a. I think that's a verified profile.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
All right.
Looks like she rules the 7 seas. Okay, very fashionable.
She kind of looks like
Smoker.
Sarah in that shot, like right before. That's like totally an outfit Sarah would have.
Yeah, totally. Even with the cigarette.
Yeah. So for me, I don't necessarily love anything there.
Yeah, we have a bunch more pictures from Insta to work with. Do you see that pop up?
Yep.
All right. Then, okay, so it looks she's really into makeup and that stuff, but like more on a very high scale level, like almost professional.
Yeah, totally.
Or professional.
Bitch, I am the
Looks
gift
pretty
from
goof.
Santa.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably not the kind of woman that I would go out with in real
Me
life.
neither. So I think personally it's a good example of maybe we don't force this one.
Right.
Because
We can
there's
just
nothing.
move on, and if something comes to mind later, we can always message later.
Yeah, of course. But I think it's good to get into that habit of not feeling like you need to and kind of reinforcing abundance. A lot of our men, I think that's what we try to preach. Cool.
Totally.
All right.
Cool.
Well, that is
Let's
a striking first photo.
Yeah, I like it as well. Being sad is not a crime. Interesting.
That's actually quite a interesting thought.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty revealing photos.
Okay. So she's dressing pretty artsy, very revealing, very model-like. Gardening is funny. One of her tags is gardening and tea.
That's true.
So I can take this one for a sec. I genuinely feel that you being sad is not a crime is an interesting line. And what came to me about that experience is, yeah, I think embracing all our emotions, even the dark ones, is part of being human. The key is not to dwell on them, but to try to process them and do something with that. That's like what it is for me, because I love that concept of, we try to self-improvement is like, be happy all the time, be perfect.
Yeah.
And that's not the human experience, right? Being sad is quite normal. It's just not dwelling in it the whole time or letting it overwhelm you and trying to work through that and then move forward from it. So for me, I would go with a really sincere message if I saw a girl like this or a woman like this.
I think so too. So I was thinking about, I wrote an article about like the power of pain. So how you can use, low points in your life to actually make changes that you wouldn't do normally. So I would probably relate to that here.
That's fantastic. I love that.
So would you ever quote something like that?
Yeah, I don't always, but I think it makes total sense.
Agreed. I actually believe at the low points in our lives are there to motivate change that would otherwise be too hard to accomplish.
Yep. Add an extra C in there.
Oh yeah. Maybe
I believe that.
our chances instead of are there. Chances to change.
I actually believe there are other points. No, I mean, I sincerely like that a lot. And you bang that out. So then the question is, what are you curious about that? Like, is there anything?
What about like, what was your experience that made you put this in your bio?
That's cool. I didn't think of that at all.
Experience?
Yeah. What were you thinking of when you wrote that quote? I think that's awesome. That's really cool. That's way stronger than anything I was thinking. Because it like really puts her back into that moment. And if she's comfortable and wants to share that, she probably hasn't revealed that to almost anybody else that's messaging her. Like, at least the depth of it, right? And it goes to show, like, you don't always have to be, you want to be emotional in these messages or talk about things that convey emotion or evoke emotion, but it doesn't have to always be funny. It can be really straight and sincere, especially if that's your personality and you like deeper talks and introspective discussions. Attract women that kind of resonate with that. And I think that's both me and Julian.
Yeah, for sure. Just one question here. What were you thinking? Like, that doesn't sound like, what were you thinking? Right?
No, I guess kind of. What inspired you to put that in your bio?
Right.
You know, maybe.
Awesome.
And then she was like, oh, I was sitting around thinking about X. That's awesome. I love that.
Cool. Yeah, I think a lot of guys are sometimes afraid to relate with people, like relate to other people's pain and difficult moments. And they like try to overplay it with humor and funny lines or whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of strength in addressing that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if it matters to her, right? Like, funny enough, she does like some modeling, revealing clothes, but somebody who's also doing gardening and tea, like, you can't infer anything, but she also kind of seems maybe introspective and a quiet thinker and you know, maybe cares about meditation, cares about these things. So if any of that resonates, it's going to polarize. Either somebody's going to be like, you know, I don't really want to talk about this kind of stuff and that doesn't excite me, or it's going to resonate really well and then your connection gets a lot stronger. And that's another concept, is like, don't play it safe, right? Say something that evokes something strong or requests a little bit out of them to be sincere, and maybe you'll lose a few percentage of the people, but you'll attract a lot more of the right ones and much stronger, right? You're going to leave a better impression on the women who actually connect with you in the real way. I love that message.
Cool.
All right.
Then let's move on.
Sweet.
All right.
Dang, that's a fantastic photo.
Sorry guys, that's a German-speaking match. I can translate, or we just look through the photos and do based on that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Goes to show that we can do it even without same language. Feelings are feelings. That's a sick.
Actually,
that's pretty cool
looked
too.
through a bunch of locations. You know, for example, I looked in Sweden, and you know, people just write their profiles mostly in Swedish, obviously, but you know, there are expats there that live there, that use Tinder there. And you also should get by if you aren't able to read the bio.
Yeah, definitely. And also more and more, a lot of people are speaking English. Obviously in Sweden, I think it's the second language. You know, even Vienna, I don't know how common it is over there, but probably I would assume a decent amount of the younger people can at least get by, you know, or use a translator.
Yeah, no, I feel in Europe these days, all the young people speak pretty good English. So especially in Western Europe, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So
then let's see if anything inspires us. I like that she's a sun child. I mean, that's what I call people like that.
Yeah, totally.
For Not me, a big fan of hiking boots, to be honest.
I don't blame you, man. Okay. What's her profile say?
All right, she's always punctual, even more than punctual. She likes chocolate raspberry porridge, hates raisins, and cold cigarette smoke. Uh, all right, she can't. Yeah, no, she doesn't like TikTok and commas.
And commas?
Yeah,
What?
I mean, I can relate to that for sure.
That's funny.
Uh,
Excessive
uh,
comma usage. Yes.
yeah, like all the rules around punctuation can be a pain in the ass for sure.
So when she was saying punctuate, was she talking about punctuation or being punctual, like on time?
Both.
Okay, both.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't
So
know
she
about
hates
for.
punctuation, but she loves being on time.
That's funny. Um, I'll say my quick thoughts there is being punctual is like one of the things I love most, and I love
Yeah.
most in people. I understand people are not, and I even break this rule too, but I really appreciate punctuality. Um, and
Yeah.
specifically, I would make a joke. I've thought about this before that like literally I would make a lot of my friendship decisions based on those who can actually be punctual versus not. Not sincerely. Oh, you did already got a
Yeah.
message back.
Just
Sweet.
got a message back. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So
So
what
yeah,
about for you?
maybe I mean I feel the same way about punctuality, man. It's like I'm gonna say what I'm also gonna write. I feel so. To me, being punctual means respecting the other person's time. Like
Yeah,
if
totally.
you're not punctual, then it basically means my time is more important than yours. And so
Mm-hmm.
I really respect when someone, doesn't take themselves so seriously that they feel like the world should revolve around their schedule.
I love that.
So
You might have to write that in German.
yeah. Oh, she hates commas.
Don't include the commas.
Um, as- so I feel it is.
A sign of how someone values you or sees themselves. Something like that.
Gonna translate for you guys in a sec.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you know how I feel. I think it's fascinating when people speak multiple languages, um, and
All
can
right.
kind of translate between them like that, like the ideas and the concepts.
So I wrote,
Okay,
I like that you're a punctual person. I feel it has something to do with respecting the other person's time as much as your own time.
that's great.
So that's all right. And then I would write something totally different, I feel.
Yeah, same thing.
All right. And then she says in the last sentence, let us be grateful that snails can't fly.
That's snails.
Yeah.
Snails can fly.
No, they can't.
Oh,
That's what
can't
she's.
fly. Can't
Yeah, she's
fly.
grateful that they can't fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, like, what's so terrifying about snails?
Yeah, totally. For me, like she's got a snail thing. Centipedes for me, man. So I might, I love that you said
Oh,
like, why
really?
isn't? Yeah, centipedes are crazy. The fact that they run like wicked fast, like other bugs, you're like, okay, they move slow, but how centipedes they like fly across the wall? That's terrifying to me. Even though I know they're not going to do anything.
Right.
Cool.
Cool.
All
Done.
right, done.
Okay. What else have we got here? No bio text. I like that dress. She's outside. Dog lover, travel, gardening. Everyone's doing gardening these days. Fashion, dancing. Not much to work with. This could be somewhere in Europe. Oh, she has a lot of plants. I like that. I'm a plant
Ah,
collector.
there you go. I think that's your in.
So you plants collector too, huh? What's your most valued one, or what's your most precious one?
Yeah, what's your most precious one? And then maybe I would relate to yourself somehow about your plants personally, because there's not much else to comment on.
Yeah,
Um,
I would probably add a picture of one of my plants.
cool. Wait. Fix precious.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's great. If you have a photo of your actual plants, that's pretty cool.
What happens if I click here? Ooh, that's weird. All right.
So you don't have to
Just
do it now on the camera, but we could imagine that. I mean, I guess you could, so that you actually send it and see how she responds.
gonna send you a pic of my baby later.
What's his name?
It's a Croton petra.
Oh, I didn't know if you had a name for the plant.
Oh no, that's the Latin name for the plant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's funny actually.
Gonna send you a picture of my baby Hugo or something later. You know, because some people I know, like my wife, names her plants. Cool.
Or maybe Camellia. All right.
Send.
Actually, that name, I'm only writing that name just because that plant, the special thing about it is that with sunlight, it changes color. So it's
Cool.
with little sun, it's green, then it turns yellow and reddish. And so kind of like a chameleon who can also change color.
Has it changed pretty rapidly?
I mean, it takes a few days.
Okay. I didn't know that they
Yeah.
can change that drastically in color.
Yeah, totally.
That's cool, man.
All right.
Send. All right.
Cool.
And now we'll imagine that Jules, just to be brief on time, sent a photo of
Yeah.
his plant. Which is true for anyone that doesn't know and maybe saw our earlier messages. He has dozens of plants, and it's something that he cares about. So, again, I think if it's the sincere thing to write about, I felt nothing from that profile, really. And I might not have cared to message at that point. But he found something at the very end, and that's what he led with without thinking about it. All right, so we got a couple more that we're going to do for you guys. This woman we just pulled up. Financial admin, part-time musician, and full-time sad girl, you said. That's pretty hilarious. Okay.
All right. If you're wondering why she is 6,500 kilometers away, like obviously, since I live in a German-speaking country, it was advantageous for this YouTube series to get some matches with English speakers. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
matched her in Boston.
And it's a good reference of like, we can do this anywhere and think about this the same way to almost anywhere. And this is a human principle. The way that we're connecting will work in any city.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, this shoe, I think it is.
Oh,
It's
that's what it
pretty
is.
legit.
It's a boot.
Yeah, it's a boot.
That's
it even has the
insane.
Bavarian flag on there, I think. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, beer drinker, I'm sold already, I feel. Okay. That's funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah. She's got a funny sense of humor.
Yeah. She looks very German.
Yeah, she totally
Yes.
does. Totally does. That's a cool shot too.
Okay. So maybe the first few for
Yeah, those
me.
resonated the most.
So maybe that one.
Is Celine Dion the one that does "My Heart Will Go On"? I think so,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, that's a very "My Heart Will Go On" photo, like the heart to the sky. That
Yeah,
strikes me.
like this could also be a Titanic reference, right? Where they do that kind of pose on the
Yeah,
ship.
totally. Never
And
let go.
I think even that song that you referenced, "My Heart Will Go On," plays in that scene. I feel.
Oh yeah, you're right. Or at least on the in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, but what's more to you? Is this more to you, or maybe both? You'll ask questions on, or the beer stein?
uh, um, hmm. Maybe here I would probably write something that's more in the funny direction. With the
Yeah.
second one, I'd probably have her like, what were you imagining in that moment? Like, were you seeing yourself on
On.
aboard a huge, ship, like wind blowing through your hair, whatever.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So for me, I'm like, damn. Like when I think of huge beer sign like that, I'm thinking like, damn, she's a champion. She could easily drink me under the table. I can't do that. Uh, it's quite impressive. That's just my thoughts. What about you?
I mean, not so much with the drinking me under the table. Um,
Julian's like, no,
I'm pretty
no.
proficient at drinking beer.
Yeah,
um, but I mean, this just looks. I mean, it's still impressive. Like a few women would drink a beer that big.
yeah, totally, totally. So like,
Maybe something like, "I love your aspiration to finish that whole beer," or like to finish that whole boot.
yeah, I had to finish the whole boot. That's really funny.
Yeah.
I love your aspiration to finish that whole boot.
Or maybe as an Austrian.
Yeah, that's funny, right? Because it gives a lot of context of why you're also saying that's like Austrians are pretty famous for having legendary beer and it being a big beer culture. So I think sharing a little bit of who you are is really strong. I love your aspiration to finish that whole boot. And then maybe even you could lead into that. Yeah, clap, clap. Okay, I like your emoji emphasis. That made me laugh. That's funny. Okay, and then maybe
What
yeah,
were you gonna say?
and then the question could be about the Celine Dion.
All right. Let's see.
Were you imagining yourself? You know, for me, it's like with the Celine Dion poster. Were you imagining yourself aboard the Titanic, or on stage being a badass? You know, that's what comes to mind for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, when I look at this, I don't see Celine Dion, to be honest. Like, this looks like a Rastafari.
yeah, it kind of does look like a Rastafarian. I mean, so that could be a funny comment in the picture. Be like, I know that's Celine Dion up there, but it kind of looks like a Rastafarian.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean, it's. Would you still do it since we have one statement sentence already? Like one funny statement?
I mean, sometimes, yeah. Especially if she's got a good sense of humor. Like, this is a type of
Sure.
person, I don't love reading into things, but she's obviously kind of jokey and an artist. So she might be somebody who's a little bit more witty, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Reads Celine Dion on that poster. Are you sure that's
No.
not How do you
Rasta-
write them? That's a good
R
question.
R-A-S
R-A.
S
R-A what?
S like Sam,
Yes.
T-A-F-A-R-I-A-N. I think so. And then fix Celine Dion.
R-I?
A-N.
Rastafarian?
No, with an A instead of
Oh,
E.
with A-N?
I believe so. I could be wrong.
You sure?
Yeah,
Oh.
it is.
Rastafarian. Yeah.
And then Celine Dion needs an L instead of that O on Celine.
Celine Dion. Cool.
Perfect. I think that's hilarious, man.
All right, let's see in terms of emoticons. I know.
You could do the thing. Yeah. That's funny. If she's kind of a silly person, I think it'll polarize and work well. And I know I'm from Boston, Brookline area, so and my wife's a musician, so kind of a lot of the creative artsy types around there have that kind of sarcastic, silly sense of humor. So
Cool.
perfect. All right, should we maybe look at the response from that other woman as a final
For
thing?
sure. For sure. I sometimes don't like to respond real soon because that often, sets the precedent of, okay, so let's reply right away again.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it gets you
Um,
into like if you're somebody who doesn't want to be messaging all the time.
yeah, I prefer to be messages spaced out a little. I don't like to be in a chat, basically.
Cool. Well, we can look at it and not respond. I'm just curious to
Hmm.
see how it
Yeah.
resonated with her to show how that authenticity uh, does. No, haha, it's a battery, but thank you. Where are you from? So that's great. She laughed. She told you a little bit about her tattoo, and she took the
Hmm.
compliment well. And then she started making it easy to ask you about yourself. Um, so
Hmm.
for me, even when a woman sometimes, like a lot of times people are brief on these, but even in brevity, you try to see like, are they investing? Do they seem like they're still engaged? So for me, the fact that she's laughing, she's taking a
Yeah.
compliment well, she puts a bunch of emojis, she's asking you back, says it resonated with her. And there you
Yeah,
go.
for sure.
We
A
come.
great sign. Yeah.
That's fine, fantastic, man. Cool. All right, so we can do,
Cool.
I guess, one more
Yeah.
match
Can
or
do this
message.
later. Yep. Let's take a look. Maybe let's see if we have another English speaker with some biotext.
This is the one we did earlier.
Oh, you're 100% right.
No worries.
Okay, no biotext. Also, probably no interesting photos. I mean,
Eh,
traveling to Bali, I feel, is pretty standard these days.
nothing there as well.
No. Okay, next. Yeah, I like people who have a mixed ethnicity. I feel they're usually mm, maybe a little prettier.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lot of studies that the more we mix people, generally, the more attractive it becomes to a wider audience, right? You've seen the studies where they
Hmm.
morph like 5 or 10 faces from different races, and almost universally they get ranked as the highest on the attractive scale,
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
which is interesting. Cool. Okay, let's try. We're just trying to
Cool.
find an example of a real profile content to give you guys when we're not only commenting on photos, but as you're
Yeah,
also recognizing the last few years, like the amount of profile content just starts to dwindle. Like people write
yeah,
so little, and that's why your messages, you don't need to spend a lot of time. You just kind of get them out and hope for the best, as long as they're authentic.
yeah.
Uh,
Don't pin me to the numbers, but I read in a study that about 60% of women don't have any biotext.
wow. I mean, yeah, it
Yeah,
seems pretty accurate. Look at, I would say like 7 out of 10 of whatever
yeah,
we've looked at are roughly haven't. Or not
yeah.
really.
And they
Like
don't
5'11"
have
and
to
some.
like they get enough matches even without. Oh, cool. Second woman
Got
just
another
replied.
response. See
Yeah,
what good messages do for you instead of writing hey or what's
yeah,
up? Okay,
yeah.
guys?
Really, guys, it goes a long way to put a little effort into online dating.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. So this woman, I would have had a response immediately. So she wrote 5'11" in socks.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask her how tall she is without socks.
Or like, how tall are those socks, right? Like,
Plateau socks.
yeah, what are you wearing? Plateau socks or something? Um, that that's really funny.
All right. Maybe because that's a quick one, we can do that and then look at a more
Yeah,
legit
sure.
answer for the final one. Um, hmm. Are those?
Plateau socks. Need to get a pair myself then. That's funny.
All
Okay.
right.
And now maybe
Let me
something
just see
legit
if
from her
there's.
profile. Ah, you're gonna do there. Or
Let's see.
EAU. Yeah.
No, I don't think there's anything good there.
How about if you write stilts?
Right. At first.
Yeah, the first one.
All right, let's see what comes up with socks, and then let's move on.
I mean,
Maybe
one of
that one
those.
I need more socks.
Yeah, I need more socks is pretty funny.
All right. Yeah, maybe, I mean, we can write something more serious.
Yeah, sure. It's good. I think challenging ourselves not to just hustle, to dig deeper is good.
Yeah.
Oh, she got some fat can headphones on. Those are huge.
Yeah. All right. I mean, this looks like a restroom.
I mean, if we didn't do the sock jokes, there's so many like, you listen to hi-fi lossless audio on the toilet too. We're soulmates. That's funny.
I mean, she's cute, but I probably don't have anything else.
Yeah, I would. For me, it would be tough to message as well. Let's scroll
Yeah.
through once more and just try to, just to show. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's like there isn't much of her personality here that would strike me outside of like she goes to the beach. What's next again? Um, I mean, for me, it's music is the most thing. So I could be like, yo, those are some awesome, those look like some awesome headphones. What are you listening to there?
Yeah. Yeah. What's your selfie playlist?
Yeah, what's your selfie playlist? Now we're getting random pictures of people make. It's like taking all our. That's funny. I
Right.
might give some context. Be like, yo, those are crazy headphones, or those some nice head. Yeah, either before there, those are some, sweet looking headphones or sweet looking cans. If somebody knows, yeah, just so she's like, okay, I get it.
Right. Cool.
Send it out.
What the heck? Where
That's
did the
correct.
send button go?
Maybe get off gift and see if it works.
Yeah, I feel that screws it up. Oh no,
No worries.
it removed our message.
Yeah.
What's your
Selfie playlist.
playlist?
Some sweet headphones.
You got some sweet headphones there. All right.
Cool. Also, for anybody that sees like Julian has that little dot there, that like G, that's what the Grammarly plugin.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
I think that's a good thing to have. I notice a lot of men, kind of when you're writing quick or you don't think about it, they just overlook typos, and it seems insignificant. But I got to be honest, a lot of women, once they see a lot of typos in a message, they're like, eh. And I don't know what it is. It triggers something of like, I don't know, this person's, I don't know, just doesn't care that much, or maybe they're not as intellectual or something, right? So,
Right.
Grammarly plugin is awesome. Just to check that and have that kind of as a reminder. It's really simple, but I even tell men to like, when they don't have this, is to like write it in a Google Doc or something first, because otherwise a lot of times they don't realize that they're, all the typos or whatever they have. All right, guys. So that's it for today. We just wanted to kind of go through the process of, again, writing these messages and doing it in a way that's emotional, both expressing your own, but evoking that from somebody else, trying to do it in a way that's fast and honest, because that's going to stand out and feel sincere or feel meaningful. So to recap how we do that, it's kind of 3 steps. We look at the profile, we kind of scan through the content or the photos for whatever immediately stands out on a gut level. Don't overthink this. You know what you like, you know what resonates with you, you know what makes you laugh. From there, you take that idea and you try to be a little introspective and disconnect from like, what does this girl want? What is her sense of humor? You don't know any of those things. You do know yourself. So trying to say like, why is this funny to me? Why do I care? What does this make me think of? What am I curious about around this? What are my deeper feelings? There's actually, you can take those questions or write introspective questions and do a little journaling to get into that habit. Because me and Julian are doing it pretty, what seems effortlessly, but we actually have spent a lot of time in our life working on that and kind of knowing ourselves and being
Yeah.
able to express that, right? This definitely wasn't like I think either of us 10 years ago, right, man? Or a little bit more than 10 years
No,
ago. Um,
for
and the
sure
only way
not.
is, yeah, the only way is practice. So you get a little introspective, you come up with a few sentences there, and then you send it out. And you just make sure, again, what I'm saying is it not just that third part, is the sentences I'm writing, does it carry a little bit of my emotion or evoke some emotion from them? And almost every message, if you're doing a little bit of introspective work, that piece will fall into place. So again, brainstorm for an idea, relate to it personally, and try to write 2 or 3 sentences that express or evoke emotion. If you do that, you're going to get a lot of responses. As you've seen here, we just started messaging. A lot of these people, because we did them in different cities, might even not even be awake or off. But already live, we've got a
Right.
bunch of responses back. And it's because you just put a little bit of effort. Women feel that. They feel like you're having fun. And that's what's going to stand out from the crowd of dudes writing, hey, what's up? Or how's your day? Or something generic.
Hmm.
So that's it. I
Totally.
think that. Um,
One last thing that I want to tell the viewers is,
yeah.
looking at this, you might think that, oh yeah, Julian, maybe he got a ton of matches even before doing this. But the reality is there's a really thin divide in online dating between no results and lots of results. So if I did months before this, total honesty, I had probably no matches for months before this. So when you invest a little bit into I going premium, doing a boost, just because you don't get any organic views, so that is investment. Making sure you have good pictures, taking some time, look through all the pictures you have, maybe go seek a photographer, take some new
Yeah.
ones. Wear nice clothes when you take new ones. It's all the effort that you can put in is gonna take you a little bit ahead of the competition. And it really comes down to competition in online dating because it's so fast. They just swipe through. Women, they get within the first hour, women sometimes get over 200 matches, guys.
That's
So just
insane.
imagine what they are bombarded with. Yeah.
That's
So you really have to invest. You have to put in effort. And I mean, I'm very, very fortunate that I run a business together with Nick. So I can access him for coaching, and having someone who is so knowledgeable about all of this by your side, helping you through this journey, is incredibly valuable.
oh, thanks,
And
man.
if you struggle to get results in online dating, I feel that everyone should invest in this rather than be miserable for months or even years, thinking they're not attractive or they don't have anything going for them just because they don't get any results in online dating.
Yeah, it's really key that you say that, man. It's like so much of the men that really struggle with this feel miserable and then get into that belief of like this just inherently means like I'm just not attractive. And I love that what you said is like the
Right.
line is quite thin of like even if you're a good looking dude, or a decent looking guy or whatever, like if you have those terrible photos and you're not investing in it and you're not like trying to showcase your personality and doing it well, you aren't going to get results.
Yeah.
And then you kind of do these things that actually makes a difference and suddenly boom, everything changes and it's well worth it. So yeah, I think we should end off saying so much better to think about building the strong foundation, investing in your pictures, investing in dressing well, writing content that's a little polarizing, writing these messages that are a little polarizing, and spending time
Yeah.
focusing on that to have a forever great experience here, rather than, like you said, spending months with just a mediocre foundation and basically hating this the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
totally. Because once the algorithm likes you, then it goes the other direction. Then you're flooded with matches. You're flooded with people who are interested in you, who are super excited to meet you. Maybe
yeah,
they just
totally.
didn't discover you before.
I mean, I don't want to harp on this, but dude, you have about 300 matches in a week. I think that's more than enough that
Yeah,
most men will ever want to get on dates with, and to have kind of feel a little bit more like they have choice, and not to feel like, oh, I just hope that I get one match this week and it actually turns out into a date.
yeah,
Um,
right. Totally. I can show you guys when my last match before that was. So it was, let's see, message all of these. That was also from that series I messaged her earlier. Maybe she was before that. Let's see. It was January 15th. And then, yeah, so a couple in January, but from January to March, nothing.
Yeah, and we kind of ran that as a split test where we just put up a profile as is and threw whatever up, and then continually for this series tweaked it. Went through downloading hundreds of photos that Julian have had over the years, picking through them, editing them, digging into better profile content, just to see how different and quick the transition is once the algorithms start to pick up, like, oh, this person's got a high quality profile, they're getting a response rate, all that, and then the algorithm keeps rewarding you. So it's a huge difference in a short amount of time, man. This is cool.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm super happy. Thank you so much, Nick. Your
Oh,
support
you
was
too,
amazing
man.
with
You're
this.
writing the awesome, funny messages, so.
Cool.